What up, though? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Deuce Show. So, yesterday, we got a chance finally to hear from Caris LeVert since being signed by the Pistons to a 2-year, $29 million deal on July 8th. In this video, I'm going to explain why I believe Caris LeVert will be the most important addition to the Pistons, barring any moves are made between now and the trade deadline, which is very possible. So, as the roster is currently constructed right now, I think this is the biggest move of the offseason. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe Duncan Robinson will be a key piece to this team as well, but I believe that Caris's presence could be just as impactful, if not more impactful, than that of Malik Beasley last season. Now, walk with me. Caris LeVert is not going to shatter the Pistons' all-time three-pointers made record of 319, which was set by Bees last season, shattering the previous record of 211, which was set by Saddiq Bey in 2022. Shout out Saddiq. Caris might not put Saddiq's number in jeopardy, but let's be honest for a minute. Malik Beasley, right? At his best, he's an average defender, but he wasn't a lazy defender most of the time. I often saw him dripping in sweat because of how much energy he was exerting on the defensive side of the ball late in games. That's just not his OD skill. We all know that is shooting the laces off the basketball. Caris LeVert isn't quite the shooter that Beasley is, but he's no slouch. Last season, he shot 37.3% from deep. Beasley, on the other hand, shot 41.6%, so there is some drop-off. But if we're being honest, I don't think it'd be fair to expect Beasley, if he were still on this team, to shoot at that clip next season. But if Caris can shoot it like, say, Tim Hardaway Jr. did last season, you can live with that. And that's not a reach at all, because last season, THJ shot 36.8% from three, which is lower than LeVert's 37.3 mark. One of the biggest differences between Caris LeVert and Malik Beasley is Caris's defensive upside. Bees is 6'4" with a 6'7" wingspan. It's not great, but it's not bad for a shooting guard off your bench. Caris, on the other hand, is 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan. So he's a bigger, longer guard, and that's just something you can't teach. Trajan Langdon recently said that he wants size and defensive versatility. Guys who can guard multiple positions.
I think with our two additions, we got bigger. We want to continue putting on guys that can play make a little bit, but also can shoot the ball. And these two guys have postseason experience as well.
Being a naturally bigger and longer guard with above average athleticism, a familiarity with the coach, and a commitment to defense gives Caris the edge when it comes to that defensive versatility that Trajan and JB are looking for. We talked about Malik Beasley giving effort on the defensive end, and he did that last season. Caris LeVert, to be fair, was not focused on the defensive end of the floor to start his NBA career because it simply was not asked of him. JB Bickerstaff, though, is a defensive-minded coach. He's not going to play you much if you do not commit to that end first. JB coached Caris LeVert for 3 seasons, and in that period was when Caris saw his game elevate because he was held accountable on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, I think JB brought out a different part of my game, and I've always said that. I think once I went to Cleveland, I was asked to play defense, and before then I wasn't really asked to play defense, and I think that's one of the stronger parts of my game now. I think my time in Cleveland really evolved me as a player just defensively and then kind of playing off the ball as well. I think those 2-3 things kind of really helped me take my game to the next level, to the player that I am now. Because I think before I went to Cleveland, before I played under JB, I was a different player. He kind of challenged me to be a more well-rounded player than I am today. So I'm definitely looking forward to this time around.
I wouldn't even be surprised if JB actually lobbied for the Pistons to go get him this offseason because he knows him. And more importantly, he knows that he can get him to commit to playing tough defense. So we talked about shooting, we've talked about defense, but what about playmaking? So let's go back to January 1st of this year when Jaden Ivey went down for the year with a broken leg. For about a month, we saw Cade Cunningham have to shoulder a much heavier load on offense. And as a result, his minutes went up to about 40 a game, his usage went up, his turnovers naturally went up, and his efficiency went down. See, once Jaden got hurt, the Pistons had one sole player on the roster in Cade Cunningham who could score the basketball and create for others. Jaden was the only other player who could do that. But once he got hurt, everything fell in Cade's lap and on his shoulders to do more, which is why he had to play so many minutes. In the non-Cade minutes, those 7 or 8 minutes a game, oftentimes less, the offense had to be run through guys like Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley. Both of those guys can make plays for others here and there, but they're best at doing what? Putting the ball in the hoop. And when you saw the offense initiated through them, it just didn't look good, and the offense stagnated. and Cade had to be rushed right back into the game. Trajan Langdon and JB Bickerstaff obviously saw that, and they knew it wasn't sustainable. And they also knew that they desperately needed another playmaker. Enter Dennis Schroder. Having another guard who could handle the ball, run the offense, set others up, and get his own shot when needed were all things that Schroder could provide. And as a result, we saw Cade's minutes come back down, usage come back down, turnovers come back down, and efficiency go back up. But the Pistons had to add Schroder because he was Cade's only safety valve. Beasley just couldn't consistently provide that. And it would have been honestly unfair to even ask that of him because that's not his game. Caris LeVert, though, provides that. He's not a natural pure point guard, right? But he has the ability to consistently get his own shot and make plays for others. During his time with the Cavs, he consistently showed the ability to play with both Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, who are both guards who can also score and play make. And many times, you would see Caris initiating the offense when he was on the court with either of those guys. And they would look for him to do that, to take a little bit of pressure off of them. Caris has the ability to provide whatever is needed. He's a chameleon. He can get in where he fits in. You need a bucket? He'll get you a bucket. You need him to run the offense for a stretch and give Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, or in the Pistons case, Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, a quick blow? He can do that too. That's something the Pistons just didn't have last year. And that's why Dennis Schroder was brought here once it was determined that Jaden Ivey was not coming back last season. But next season, Cade or Jaden should, for the most part, always have another ball handler and playmaker on the court with them. Last season, if you remember, especially in the playoffs, whenever Dennis Schroder was not on the court with Cade, we saw the Knicks loading up on Cade. Heavy pressure, heavy double teams. And just recently, a Pistons executive echoed what I and many Pistons fans have said. Had Jaden Ivey been healthy, the Pistons likely would have beaten the Knicks. And that's why. With Jaden on the court with Cade, the Knicks wouldn't have been able to focus so much of their attention on him. The double teams would have been much less frequent, and if they came, they would literally be playing to Jaden Ivey's strengths, which is what? Being a secondary ball handler, off the catch, getting downhill, putting pressure on the defense in the rim. So for the first time in Cade's career, next season, he's going to have much more room to operate, regardless of who the other guard is that's on the court with him, whether it's Jaden or Caris, because they can both make good secondary decisions consistently, whether it's knocking down the open shot or blowing by their guy who's closing out to him, and then whether it's looking to finish at the rim or tossing the lob to JD or finding a Sar cutting baseline or making a skip pass to Tobias Harris or Ron Holland in the corner. Jaden Ivey and Caris LeVert can both do all of those things. And once again, as good as a shooter as Bees is, the Pistons didn't have that consistently last year. Last year, we never saw a three-guard rotation featuring three playmakers. For example, Cade, Jaden, and Schroder. It was either Cade, Jaden, and Bees for the first half of the year, or Cade, Schroder, and once again, Bees the second half of the year. But we never saw Cade, Jaden, and Schroder. But next season, the Pistons will have a three-guard rotation that features three guards who are all multi-dimensional offensively and defensively, and they're bigger. Lastly, and we touched on this already, but let's break it down a little bit more. Familiarity. Last season, we saw Bees have a career year, a year worthy of the Sixth Man of the Year award, which I thought he should have won. What's most impressive about that is that he did it in the first year with the coach whom he had never played for before. Caris LeVert, though, has the benefit of coming to a team featuring a system that he has 3 years of experience playing under. And it's not just Coach Bickerstaff. Caris mentioned that some of the assistant coaches that were with him in Cleveland are now with the Pistons. Guys like Luke Walton and Sidney Lowe. They came with Coach Bickerstaff from Cleveland to Detroit. So with that being said, I don't think it's going to take him much time to get comfortable with this team. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's even able to help some of these guys with some of the little things that he's picked up along the way, just with his experience of playing for JB. And the only reason I keep referencing Malik Beasley so often in this video is because he was one of the most important players for this team. This team can definitely say they moved the needle forward last season, in part to what Bees brought to the court, and in some ways, off the court. His departure left a void. But the combination of Jaden Ivey coming back and Caris LeVert becoming that third dual threat guard is going to be a huge difference maker for this team. And now you have Duncan Robinson, who can solely focus on being at least, hopefully, most of what Beasley brought, but as the fourth guard instead of the third guard. And that's why I think a guy like Caris LeVert can have the same level of impact as a guy like Beasley had last season, just in a different way when you factor in both ends of the court. But who knows? Best case scenario, maybe Bees gets cleared. There's been some footage of him as of late, working out in Pistons gear, and he even posted a story to Instagram saying, "Best believe I'm coming back even better." Could it be Cap? Sure. Could he know something that we don't and is waiting for his name to eventually be cleared? Yeah, that's possible too. Let's just say it is. Maybe he then comes back for a discount, and this silver lining is a lot thicker than we thought it would be, and we're all of a sudden stacked, and could then really have the assets we need to make that trade deadline move for a big man that everybody seems to be waiting on. But what do you think? Talk to me in the comments and let's talk about it. And y'all know the drill. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot, and I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think of just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Slick talking pundits, I heard you're ashamed. Talking that shop, you must run this way every day. Tryna tell ya, put the dog palm, mess around, find out, yeah. Put the dog palm, mess around, find out, yeah. For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're ready for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that.